All right, we're here with now Ohio State commit Kyion Grayes, 2022 wide receiver. Kyion, I want to take this back to where everything sort of started. When did you first hear from Ohio State, and who was the person that contacted you? What was their message to you?
I talked to Coach Kyion Grayes, and their message was just the program, just everything. It's just family. It's just a great place to be, and it's the place that you want to go if you want to compete. And so, really, we talked back in May, and that relationship was just built from there. I got on the phone with Coach Hart, and it just kept escalating, and we got to this point.
What was that first contact like with Coach Hart? Was that when he offered you, or how did that process begin to getting an offer?
It was really just us talking. He told me how his process went, and I loved it. And it was the perfect process, and that's like how offers should come. So we built our relationship. We kept talking, and then eventually he gave me the offer, and it was just like it seemed like it was meant to be at that point.
Now, at the time you were committed to Arizona, what was it about? Like, why was it that you wanted to commit to Arizona so early in that process?
Really just the environment, the feeling I had, what was going to happen. We didn't know what life was going to be like at that point, so it was really just being smart and making sure that I have somewhere to go if anything doesn't change. But at this point, it's like, we know where we want to be at this point.
Now, obviously, I think you would have ended up at Ohio State regardless of the commitment, but when everything sort of fell out with Coach Chandler, did you just see that as your time? All right, now I'm officially going to open it back up and really focus on Ohio State, Oregon, all those other schools?
Oh, yes, sir. It was really just a thing to opened it up a lot more because with that happening, I mean, it was a sad thing, but at that point, it was like, okay, let's open it up and let's go see where I'm going to end up and where I'm actually going to look into. So it was just crazy.
You have a gray Ohio State sweatshirt on now. You've posted about a red one, a black one on. You've posted some O's and pictures when it comes to you. As a guy that picked up an Ohio State offer, some kids in this recruiting process like to be real private and keep things in and not. But it struck me as you've always sort of been very open about your interest in Ohio State and ultimately really ending up in Ohio State. Why did you just choose to be very open about it instead of trying to conceal it and be this big secretive guy?
Really just, if you know where you want to go, you should, how can I say, you should push that option. You should never lead these schools on, let them know where you want to be, act like you want to be there. If you know where you want to go, you should go there. You should look into it a lot more. So at that point, it was like there's no need to be closed or private with it. Just open it up.
And ever since I talked to you the first time, it was that you didn't want to commit anywhere unless you got to visit. So ultimately, I talked to you and your father in Miami for the battle tournament. It was big to get up here for this visit to Columbus. How has it gone so far, being here in Columbus, checking everything out? What have you enjoyed the most about it?
I really just enjoyed the environment, the place, the people, everything. Coach Hart, we talked in the hotel room, like just calls. We were just talking. I'm telling him that I love him. It's just a place that I want to be at. I love the players here. I love the environment, people, the school, the campus, everything. So it's just a great place.
We talked about yesterday. You and I were texting. We talked about how there was going to be mat drills because Denzel Burke, one of your friends from Arizona, was going to go through them. And you mentioned, I sent you the video of them, we talked about it, and you said it was fun because it was going to be competitive. It takes a very competitive person to come to Ohio State, especially with all the wide receivers that Coach Hart has brought in. What ingrained that competitive personality, like persona inside of you, and how do you just keep it going each and every day?
The man behind the camera, my dad, he's really been the one that's pushed me to be the most competitive person ever. Every time it's been never lose. Never lose, that's never the plan. So it's always just pushed me to become a better receiver and always take what's mine.
You mentioned Dad there, and Mom is also behind the camera as well. We'll talk a little about that. You were blessed enough to have two parents that were Division I athletes, both in football and track, and you were a guy that, I mean, not a lot of people get to have that, like, I guess that's athletic genes passed down to you. How much do you just thank them for putting you in the position you are today, not only when it comes to athletically, but also just getting you out on visits, getting you to colleges? How much do you give them credit for that?
Really, I give them full credit. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at and do what I do. So without my dad pushing for me, without my mom giving me everything I need, I really wouldn't be here. So, I mean, everything, all thanks to them, they're the reason why I'm here.
Two other coaches I want to mention with you is Coach Garrison, am I correct on saying that, at Chandler? He's got an environment going. They had a different wide receiver go Division I this past year, Division I quarterback cycling through, another running back that went to Iowa State. That competitive nature, that program he's built where you guys are constantly winning championships. How much credit do you have to give to him to getting you to this point and also really just continuing to stoke that competitive fire that your dad developed in you?
Oh, really, I give him a lot of credit too, because really getting there, your position is never promised. It's just like being here. So I feel like leaving Chandler, I'm going to another version of Chandler, just higher up. And so I give him a lot of credit too for for him being able to push me and letting me know that my spot's not secure, regardless of where I'm at and what I'm doing. So that was just great.
Another coach I do want to mention, because I'm close to them, I know you guys are close to them, and your dad works with them because he's a part of the staff, but Coach Toby with the Tucson Turf team and everybody out there, just continue to give you a place that you can work and get competitive in the off season, because that's a big word with you right now, is competitive and just continue to work. How awesome is it that you have a great program like that and great coaches that just want to get you better in the spring in hopes of you performing well in the fall?
Really, us and Coach Toby, he keeps my head level. So like whenever we play, whenever we go out, be there and act like you've done this before. It's never, oh, celebrate, disown the guy you just caught the ball on, all that. It's mainly just act like you've been there before. That helps me a lot coming into the season because my job is to catch the ball and score. So really, I give him a lot of credit for keeping my head level and just letting me be in a great program with him and his son.
Outside of Coach Hart, outside of Coach Bailey, outside of Coach Day, I know some people that really helped bring you to Ohio State was the other commits in the class, whether it be Desan or CJ or even Quinn. How much do you talk to those guys, and how much did their relationship with you and wanting to get to know you really make you feel comfortable coming to Ohio State?
Shoot, me and Desan FaceTime almost every day for what, like in 2 hours maybe. Me and Bennett play Star Wars Battlefront, all this stuff, and so like building a relationship with them is great. And I mean, getting to feel like we're teammates before we're even teammates is just a great feeling. It makes me feel even more welcome and secure knowing I'm coming into an environment with those type of people.
Sidebar before we get into the other commits. Right now, CJ and Desan both have a picture of you as a small child as their profile picture. How does one get a hold of that picture? And did they sort of tell you that they were going to put that as their profile picture?
Desan asked me to send it to him, and then I guess he just put it up, so it was kind of surprising.
Outside of that, what are the other? What does it mean for you to be able to come in with Ohio State and Caleb Burton's coming in, another 5-star receiver? Quinn Ewers, the top quarterback in the country, top player in the country, is coming in. What does that mean to you to get to come in with those guys and have success like that?
It's really just great. It shows how good our class could be and how great our class could be. I mean, I can't really complain, especially with those people. We're just all teammates, and it's just a blessing to be able to come in with those guys.
This is the part I'm most interested in asking you about, because we talked about it before you even got to Columbus. With being a #1 class coming into college is awesome to make fans look for national championships out of having the #1 national championship recruiting class. Is that something you guys talk about? Is that a goal you guys have? And why did you feel like coming to Ohio State with those guys gives you the best chance to do that?
Really, we want 4 national championships before we leave. If we can't get 4, then 3 something. But we just want to come in and show that why we can be one of the best classes in the nation. And so there's no reason why we can't.
We'll get just a few more questions. We won't mention the guy because I think you'll mention him. But you're very active now because you're a very talkative person when it comes to other recruits. What are guys that you're recruiting, and give us insight to the one guy that you guys even gave a place to stay last weekend while he was in Arizona playing 7-on-7.
Xavier. We're going to still need Desan are pushing him. CJ, everybody we're pushing him. And really, my 23-year-old Will Cole, I'm going to steal him too. But there's really just a few people that we're looking at. And obviously, Zion Branch is another one, but there's a lot of people that we're looking to take. There's other people that Caleb's recruiting, that I'm recruiting, that Quinn, everybody. So we have something big coming.
Xavier isn't necessarily a West Coast guy, but you mentioned Cole, you mentioned Zion. As a guy that's been to Columbus now and is going to be a commit, do you sort of see yourself as like the West Coast liaison? You're out there working, making sure guys understand Ohio State?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm going to be preaching it every day to every single one of them, making sure that they know what's out there.
All right. Kyion, I'll ask you one last question here. What is your ultimate goal at Ohio State personally, outside of winning national championships? What do you want to be by the end of your Ohio State career?
I just want to be on the field. That's it. We're going to take it 1 year at a time, 1 day at a time, and just continue to better myself and become a better person and a better player every day.
You've been looking at the camera. Give one last message to the Buckeye fans that are going to hear this after you commit to Ohio State.
Go Bucks.